Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Daxon here with Noxed.org. I decided I wanted to make a set of tutorial videos on how to use Photoshop. Now you can see I have Photoshop open here. I can't quite remember what version it is. Let me see if I can find out. Oh, that may end up taking forever. But anyway, it should be pretty similar to whatever Photoshop you're using. Some things may be mixed around in different ways, but it should be alright. So I'm going to try my best to help you out. Now in this video I'm just going to be going over the basic setup of how you would open your drawing area, your canvas, whatever you want to call it, and then some of the basic tools. So what we want to do to go ahead and start is we want to come up to File and go to New. And then you should have this box pop up, and you can name it if you want. It doesn't really matter what you name it. We'll just call it Video 1 here for this purpose. And then you can set your width, height, resolution, color mode, and background contents, and whatever way you want. Now I always do 1000 by 1000 pixels. Okay, and you can click on this to change however you want to measure, but I always measure in pixels. And then right here with your resolution, I like it to be 1000 pixels per square inch, which makes a really nice resolution. So then once you have all of that set, make sure your color mode is RGB color, 8-bit, background color, we'll just start with white. Otherwise you can change that to transparent or set a background color, but we'll just leave all of it like this. So once you have all these settings the same, you can go ahead and click OK. And then it will open up our white pad, which is a perfect square. Now over here to discuss a few things with our menu. First over here we have our little black pointer, which is how you'll actually drag things around, select, continue, things like that. We have a selection tool, we have a lasso tool, some other tools I don't really use much also. Not really familiar with this tool, to be honest. This is our cropping tool. This is our eyedropper tool, which is how we can select colors. Not familiar with that. We have a paintbrush, a stamper, an eraser, paint bucket, burn, smooth, text, shapes, a magnifying glass, the hand tool which will drag, and then our two different colors. So let's go ahead and start with the basics. What we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and show you how you can just click on the square, or you can right click on it if you would like to select another tool, but for this we'll just go with the rectangle tool, and you can just drag, and there is your rectangle. Now come up here to this little black mouse I was showing you just a second ago, and this is what you'll always select when you're wanting to move something around the screen, wherever you want to place it. Okay. Also, if you want to get really picky of where you're placing things, use your up, down, left, and right arrows on your keyboard, and you can slowly move it just a little bit at a time. See how slow that's moving? And I'm holding down the up button. If you just sit here and tap it, it moves really slow. Okay, so let's go ahead and practice. We can just make a few different shapes. Also, something else that's really important you need to know from the start, because it'll help you from the start all the way until you're getting good with Photoshop, is your layers. Okay, so we have our background layer, which is just the white area, and then we have this actual, it's just called shape 1, which is where this is. Okay, and then your layers are in a specific order, and let me show you exactly what that is. So let's go ahead and select red for our color, and we'll make another square that is red. Now we can come back up here to the black arrow. Now watch what happens when I drag this square. It is going to go over the first one, and the reason is because you see our red square is above the black square is above the background. So if we switch these around, you just click on it and drag it up like that. Now it's going to be the other way around. But no matter what, you want the background on the bottom, and the reason is because you want that obviously to be the very first layer, and everything else you want to build up on top of it. When you're selecting or wanting to move something, you would just select it with the black mouse over here, just like that. See, I'm on that layer, so no matter where I drag, it's only going to move the black one. You can click on it if you want, or you can just click anywhere and drag it. Now if I want to move the red one, I go to the red shape and I will move the red one. So we can go ahead over here and we can, like I said, there's a bunch of different tools and things like that. But this is your basic setup of how to get started, you know, with Photoshop, get it open and things like that. There's one more thing I want to show in this video before I stop this one and go ahead and make a second video, and that is how to save what you have here. So let's say we want to save exactly what we have here, just like this. For, I know it's not really anything, but we can come up here to File, and we can come down here to Save As. Now, I am a big believer in PNG files, but you can use JPEG, you can use whatever file format you want to save it in. That's completely up to you. And then you also have your Photoshop, which is a PSD PDD file. And what that file actually is if I save it in a Photoshop file, that means I can come back later and I'm still going to have my layers here, and I can actually edit everything, like basically pick up where I left off. If I save it, in other words, to a PNG, which I will do that, save it to my desktop, and then I'll save it. I'll show you what happens. Okay, now we can come up and I'll go to open, and I'm going to open that PNG I just saved. Now look what happens, it's all merged together, so there's nothing I can do about it. Okay, it's all mixed together into one image. Now let me go back, and I'm going to save this as a Photoshop file to the desktop, which I always do anyway. Even if I'm done with the project, or I think I'm done, I'll always save, you know, my one that I'm going to be using as the PNG or JPEG, whatever your choice, and then I'll always save an extra one as the Photoshop file, so that way I can always come back later and I can edit it, you know, from where I left off when I was making it. So I'm going to go ahead and click OK here and save it as a Photoshop file and exit out of this. Now when I go back in, I'm going to open both of them. I'm going to open the PNG and I'm going to open the Photoshop file. Both of those, the same thing we just did, just two different files. Now watch what happens. Our first one is the PNG, which I already showed you. It's locked, can't do nothing with it. Of course I can come in here and I can edit it, okay? But the layers are locked, so I can't move these without actually spending a lot more time and work to edit it. But now if I come into the Photoshop file, you see my layers are still here, so I can come back and I can continue to edit where I left off. So let's say later on, for whatever reason, I wanted the red one on the bottom and the black one on top. And that's fine, and then I can go ahead and save it as a, you know, replace the PNG and replace the Photoshop file, or you can make a new Photoshop file if you're wanting to keep both. That's completely up to you. But anyway guys, running up on to getting close to the 10-minute mark on this video, so I'm going to go ahead and make video number 2. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a like, thumbs up, comment if you have any questions or suggestions. Also subscribe. I make a lot of videos. I try to make one a day, and at minimum at least one video per week, you know, over all types of stuff, mostly technology and things like that. Please also check out my website, www.noxad.org. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.